There are moments that change you, moments that show you exactly who people really are, moments when you realize that the family you sacrifice everything for sees you as nothing more than an inconvenience. I'm Loretta Johnson. I'm 57 years old. And 3 months ago, I stood on my daughter's front porch holding a birthday present and a balloon while she looked me in the eye and said three words that shattered everything I thought I knew about our relationship. You weren't invited. Before I tell you what led to that moment, what I discovered about my daughter's lies, and how I finally learned to let go of people who never valued me in the first place, I want to ask you something. If this story speaks to you, hit that like button. Subscribe to this channel because Loretta's journey continues, and drop a comment telling me what city you're listening from. It means everything to know where my stories reach. This is about the day I became nobody at my own grandson's birthday party and the painful truth I uncovered about why my daughter really wanted me gone. It started 2 weeks before the party. I went to my mailbox like I do every day, bills, junk mail, and then I saw it, a cream-colored envelope, thick cardstock, my name and address written in elegant script. I opened it carefully. Inside was a birthday invitation, not just any invitation, a formal printed invitation, the kind you order from a stationery store. You're invited to celebrate Tyler's 8th birthday, Saturday, March 15th, 2 o'clock, the Henderson residence. The Henderson residence. That's what it said. Not Ashley and Brad's house, not come celebrate with family. The Henderson residence, like I was being invited to a stranger's home. But I pushed that thought away because it was an invitation to my grandson's birthday, Tyler, my sweet boy who I hadn't seen in almost 3 months. I ran my fingers over the embossed letters, smiled. Ashley must have wanted to make it special this year, a real party with printed invitations. I was proud of her for doing something nice for Tyler. There was no personal note, no "Hi, Mom, hope you can make it," or "Tyler would love to see you," just the formal invitation. But that was okay. Ashley was busy. She had 2 kids and a job and a household to manage. I understood. I put the invitation on my refrigerator, looked at it every day for 2 weeks, counted down the days until I get to see Tyler again. See, I hadn't just been absent from Tyler's life for 3 months by choice. Ashley had been making excuses. Every time I called to ask about visiting, she had a reason why it wasn't a good time. Tyler has too much homework. We're busy with sports. Brad's family is visiting. We have plans, maybe next month. Always next month. But next month never came. So this invitation felt like a door opening again, like maybe whatever had been causing the distance was over. Maybe Ashley was ready to let me back in. I started planning immediately. What gift should I get Tyler? What should I wear? Should I bake something to bring? I decided on the gift first. I remembered the last time I talked to Tyler on the phone back in December. He'd been so excited about science, kept telling me about experiments they were doing at school, how he wanted to be a scientist when he grew up. So I went looking for a science kit, not just any kit, the perfect one, the one that would make his eyes light up. I went to 3 different stores. The first 2 didn't have what I was looking for. Too simple, too babyish. Tyler was smart. He needed something challenging, something that would make him think. At the 3rd store, I found it, a deluxe chemistry set with a microscope, real lab equipment, experiment guides. It was expensive, $140, more than I should spend on a single gift. But it was perfect, and Tyler was worth it. My grandson, the boy I'd helped raise from birth, the boy who used to run to me yelling, "Grandma," every time I walked through the door. I bought it, had them wrap it in shiny blue paper with a big silver bow. Bought a happy 8th birthday balloon to go with it. Then I went home and planned what to wear. I wanted to look nice, presentable. I'd be meeting other parents. Brad's family would probably be there. His mother, Patricia, who always looked so put together, so polished. I picked out my nicest dress, navy blue with a white collar, the one I wore to church on special Sundays. Laid it out the night before with my good shoes, the black ones that didn't hurt my feet too much. The morning of the party, I woke up early, too excited to sleep. I hadn't seen Tyler in so long, hadn't hugged him, hadn't heard his laugh. 3 months felt like forever when it came to grandchildren. I took my time getting ready, showered, did my hair carefully, put on a little makeup, not too much, just enough to look fresh, alive, like a grandmother her grandson could be proud of. I put on the navy dress, the good shoes, looked at myself in the mirror, smoothed down the fabric, checked my hair one more time. I looked nice, respectable, like a woman who belonged at her grandson's birthday party. I loaded the present and balloon into my car. The present was big, took up most of my passenger seat, but I didn't mind. I could picture Tyler's face when he opened it, the excitement, the wow, Grandma, this is awesome. The drive to Ashley's house took 20 minutes. I'd made this drive 1,000 times. Used to make it every week when Tyler was a baby, when Ashley would call desperate for help and I'd drop everything to come watch him. But I hadn't made this drive in months, not since Christmas. And even then, the visit had been short, awkward. Ashley seemed distracted the whole time. Brad barely spoke to me. The kids were rushed through opening presents, and then Ashley said they had somewhere to be. I'd left feeling strange, off balance, like I'd done something wrong, but didn't know what. But today was different. Today I had an invitation, an official invitation. I was wanted, expected, part of the celebration. I pulled up to Ashley's house at exactly 2 o'clock. The driveway was full of cars, the street too. Lots of people, a big party. My heart swelled. Tyler must be so happy. I could hear music and laughter coming from the backyard, kids screaming and playing, the sounds of a party in full swing. I carefully pulled the big present out of my car, tied the balloon string around my wrist so it wouldn't float away, walked up the front path to the door. My heart was beating fast, not from exertion, from excitement, from joy. I was going to see my grandson. Finally, after 3 long months, I rang the doorbell, held the present in front of me. The balloon bobbed above my head in the breeze. I could hear footsteps approaching. The door handle turned, and then Ashley opened the door. Her face was neutral at first. Then she saw me, and her expression changed. Confusion. Then something harder. Something cold. Mom, what are you doing here? The question hit me like a slap. What was I doing here? I was invited. I held up the invitation in my free hand, the one that wasn't holding the giant present. I came for Tyler's party. I got the invitation. Ashley's jaw tightened. She glanced behind her, then stepped out onto the porch, pulled the door almost closed behind her, blocking my view of the inside. Mom, you weren't invited. I blinked, looked at the invitation in my hand, then back at Ashley. But I got this in the mail 2 weeks ago. That was a mistake. A mistake. The word hung in the air between us. A mistake? How is sending me an invitation a mistake? Ashley sighed, the kind of sigh that said I was being difficult, unreasonable. Brad's mom was helping with the invitations. She must have accidentally added you to the list. You weren't supposed to get one. I stood there, still holding the present, the balloon still tied to my wrist, processing what she was saying. I wasn't supposed to be invited to Tyler's birthday? Mom, please, don't make this harder than it has to be. Behind the door, I heard a voice, small, young. Mammy, who's at the door? Tyler, my grandson, right there, just a few feet away. Without thinking, I called out, Tyler, it's Grandma. Happy birthday, sweetheart. Ashley's face went hard. Mom, stop. Tyler, I have your present. I found the perfect... Mom. Ashley's voice was sharp now, cutting. You need to leave. Now. The door opened wider. I saw Brad standing there, his face uncomfortable. Behind him, other adults, parents, family members, all looking at us, all looking at me. Ashley, what's going on? Brad asked quietly. Nothing. Mom was just leaving. I tried to look around them, tried to see Tyler. Can I at least give him his present? Can I at least say happy birthday? No, Mom, you can't. You weren't invited, and you need to respect that. People were staring now. A woman I didn't recognize whispered something to her husband. Brad's mother, Patricia, appeared in the hallway. Her face showed surprise, then something like pity. I was being humiliated in front of all these people at my own grandson's birthday party. Ashley, please, I don't understand. What did I do? Why wasn't I invited? This isn't the time or place to have this conversation. Then when? When is the time? You won't return my calls. You're always too busy when I ask to visit. Now I'm not welcome at Tyler's birthday. When is the time, Ashley? Her face was stone. You're embarrassing yourself and me. Please leave. My hands were shaking. The present felt heavy. The balloon string cut into my wrist. What about Tyler? Doesn't he want to see me? Tyler is fine. He has plenty of people here who care about him. The words cut deep. People who care about him, as if I didn't, as if I hadn't spent countless nights rocking him when he was a baby, as if I hadn't paid for his preschool, as if I hadn't been there for every scraped knee, every bad dream, every milestone. I looked down at the present, at the science kit I'd searched 3 stores for, the one I'd spent money I didn't really have on, because I wanted it to be perfect. I bent down slowly, set it on the porch, right there at Ashley's feet. This is for Tyler, I said, my voice shaking. Tell him happy birthday from Grandma. Ashley didn't even look at it. I'll make sure he gets it. Ashley dash dash. Goodbye, Mom. And she stepped back inside. Brad gave me one last uncomfortable look, then closed the door. I stood there on the porch, alone, the balloon still tied to my wrist, the sound of the party continuing inside, laughter, music, children playing, and I wasn't part of it. I walked back to my car. Each step felt heavy, wrong, like I was walking through a nightmare. I could feel eyes on me, people at windows, in the yard, watching the grandmother who wasn't invited get turned away at the door. The humiliation burned hot and shameful, like I'd done something wrong just by showing up, just by wanting to celebrate my grandson's birthday. I got in my car, sat there. The balloon floated up and hit the ceiling, mocking me with its cheerful happy birthday message. I still couldn't cry. I was too shocked, too confused, too hurt to even process it into tears. I just drove home on autopilot, not really seeing the road, just replaying the scene over and over. You weren't invited. That was a mistake. You need to leave. When I got home, I sat in my driveway for 20 minutes before I could make myself go inside. And when I finally did, I walked straight to my bedroom, lay down on my bed, fully dressed, shoes still on, and stared at the ceiling. What had just happened? Why had that happened? What had I done to deserve being turned away at my own grandson's birthday party? I tried to think back over the last few months, the last few times I'd seen Ashley. Had I said something, done something, criticized her parenting, overstepped somehow? But I couldn't think of anything. If anything, I've been careful, too careful, walking on eggshells around her because I noticed how easily she got annoyed with me lately. The last time I'd really spent time with her was Christmas, 3 months ago. We'd exchanged gifts. I'd given Tyler and Emma nice presents, books, educational toys, things I knew they'd enjoy. Ashley had seemed distant even then, but I chalked it up to holiday stress. Everyone gets stressed during the holidays. Before that, I tried to remember, when was the last time before Christmas that I'd seen them? September, almost 6 months ago. Ashley had called asking if I could watch the kids for the weekend. Shut and Brad wanted to go away for their anniversary. Of course, I'd said yes. I always said yes when it came to my grandchildren. I kept Tyler and Emma for 3 days. We'd had a wonderful time, made cookies, went to the park, did crafts. Tyler had hugged me so tight when Ashley came to pick them up. I love you, Grandma. Can I stay longer? Ashley had laughed, ruffled his hair. We'll come visit Grandma again soon, buddy. But they hadn't. That was the last time I'd spent real time with my grandchildren, 6 months ago. What changed? What happened between September and now to make me unwelcome? I got up from my bed, walked to my home office, opened my filing cabinet where I keep records, bank statements, canceled checks. I started going through them, looking at the payments I'd made to Ashley over the years. Tyler's preschool tuition, $1,800 a year for 3 years. The down payment on Ashley's car when hers died, $5,000. Emergency room bills when Tyler broke his arm and they didn't have insurance yet, $2,000. Emma's daycare for 6 months when Ashley went back to work, $7,000. Birthday presents, Christmas presents, emergency loans that were never paid back, groceries when they were tight on money, Tyler's soccer fees, Emma's dance classes. I added it up. Over the last 8 years since Tyler was born, I'd given Ashley over $40,000. $40,000! And now I wasn't invited to my grandson's birthday party. My phone buzzed, a text message. For a second, my heart jumped. Maybe it was Ashley. Maybe she was apologizing. Maybe she realized how much she hurt me. But it wasn't Ashley. It was Marcus, my son. Mom, Ashley just called me, said you showed up uninvited to Tyler's party and made a scene. What's going on? Made a scene. That's what she told him, that I made a scene. I stared at the text. My hands started shaking with something new. Not hurt anymore, anger, I typed back. I was invited. I had an invitation. She turned me away at the door. 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. She said that was a mistake, that you weren't supposed to get one. Mom, maybe you should have called first. Called first to confirm I was invited to my own grandson's birthday party, to make sure they actually wanted me there. When did I become someone who needs permission to see my grandchildren? I typed. Mom, don't be dramatic. Ashley's dealing with a lot right now. Maybe just give her some space. Give her space. That's what everyone kept saying. Give Ashley space. Respect Ashley's boundaries. Don't push Ashley. But what about me? What about my feelings? What about my right to have a relationship with my grandchildren? I didn't respond to Marcus. What was the point? He'd already decided I was the problem, just like Ashley wanted him to. I put my phone down, looked at the bank statements again, at all that money, all that sacrifice, all those times I'd said yes when Ashley called needing help. And this is what I got in return. Turned away at the door, humiliated, told I was embarrassing her. What do you think? Was I wrong for showing up? Should I have called first to confirm I was actually wanted? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying every interaction with Ashley from the last year, looking for clues, for the moment things changed. And then I remembered it was last October, 6 months ago, right after I'd watched the kids for that anniversary weekend. Ashley had called, asked if she could come over to talk about something important. I'd been excited, thought maybe she wanted to ask me to watch the kids more regularly. Or maybe she was pregnant again and wanted to tell me first. She sat at my kitchen table, looking nervous, fidgeting with her coffee cup. Mom, Brad and I have been talking. We want to redo the kitchen. It's really outdated and we need more space. I nodded, waited for her to continue. The thing is, we got quotes and it's going to cost about $15,000. We don't have that kind of money saved up right now. My stomach had sunk. I knew where this was going. We were hoping you might be able to help us out. We'd pay you back, of course, with interest. It would just be a loan. $15,000 on top of the 40,000 I'd already given her over the years. I looked at her, really looked at her, saw the expectation in her eyes, the certainty that I'd say yes like I always did. And for the first time in my life, I'd said no to my daughter. Ashley, honey, I can't. That's more money than I have. I'm living on a fixed income now. I'm retired. I can't afford to loan you $15,000. Her face had changed, hardened. Can't or won't, both. I don't have it to give. And even if I did, sweetheart, you've never paid back any of the other money I've loaned you. I can't afford to just give away that kind of money anymore. She stood up. So that's it? After everything Brad and I do for you, you won't help us with this one thing? Everything you do for me? Ashley, what do you do for me? We let you see the kids. We include you in their lives. The words had stunned me. Let me see the kids, as if that was a favor, as if being a grandmother was a privilege they granted me instead of a natural relationship. You let me see them? They're my grandchildren, and they're our children. And if you're not going to be supportive of our family, then maybe we need to reevaluate how much time you spend with them. She left, just walked out, didn't even finish her coffee. And that was the last real conversation we had. Everything after that had been short, surface level. Her finding excuses why I couldn't visit, why she couldn't talk. I thought she just needed time to cool off, that eventually she'd realize I wasn't wrong for saying no, that she couldn't punish me forever for having boundaries. But I was wrong. She could punish me, and she was, by cutting me off from my grandchildren, by not inviting me to Tyler's birthday, by turning me away at the door in front of all those people. This wasn't about me embarrassing her. This was about me not giving her money. The realization settled over me like a heavy blanket, cold, suffocating. My daughter was holding my grandchildren hostage, punishing me financially by taking away the thing I love most, access to Tyler and Emma. And there was nothing I could do about it. She was their mother. She controlled whether I saw them or not. And she knew it. She knew exactly how much power she had. I got out of bed, went to my computer, opened Facebook. I rarely used it, but I had an account, mostly just to see pictures of the grandkids that Ashley posted. I went to her page. It was set to private now. I couldn't see anything. When did that happen? I used to be able to see her posts, but I had a cousin, Diane, who was friends with Ashley. I went to Diane's page, scrolled through, and there it was. Photos from Tyler's birthday party. Diane had been there, had been invited when I wasn't. I clicked through the pictures, my heart breaking with each one. Tyler blowing out candles on a dinosaur cake, smiling, happy, surrounded by friends and family. Tyler opening presents, so many presents from so many people. Was my science kit there? Had Ashley even given it to him? Taylor hugging his other grandmother, Patricia, Brad's mom. She was in almost every photo, standing next to Ashley, helping with the cake, playing with Emma, front and center at the family parties, in the place that should have been mine. I kept scrolling, and then I saw a comment that made my blood run cold. Patricia had written, "So glad we could all be here for Tyler's special day. Family is everything." And Ashley had responded, "Yes, so grateful for our family. We're so blessed." Our family, not the family. Our family, excluding me, making it clear who was in and who was out. I took a screenshot. I don't know why. Maybe I needed proof. Proof that I wasn't crazy, that this was really happening. The next morning, my phone rang. It was Diane, my cousin. "Loretta, hi, I need to talk to you about something." "Okay." She sighed. "I saw you yesterday at Ashley's house trying to get into the party." My throat tightened. You were there." "Yeah, I was invited. And Loretta, I'm so sorry. I had no idea you weren't invited until I saw you at the door. I felt terrible." "Did Ashley say anything about why I wasn't there?" Another sigh, longer. "That's why I'm calling. I think you need to know what she's been saying. What do you mean? Loretta, Ashley has been telling people that you're difficult, that you're toxic, that you try to control everything and undermine her parenting. She said she needed to create boundaries for her mental health. The words hit like physical blows. Toxic, controlling, undermining her parenting. That's not true. None of that is true. I know. I know you, Loretta. I've known you your whole life. You're not toxic, but that's what she's been telling everyone. That's why you weren't invited. She said she couldn't have you there because you caused drama. I couldn't speak, couldn't breathe. And there's more, Diane continued quietly. She's been positioning Patricia as the good grandma, the one who respects boundaries, who doesn't interfere. She's basically replacing you with Brad's mother. But I never interfered. I never undermined her. I helped when she asked. I gave her money when she needed it. I babysat whenever she called. I know, and I think that's the problem. What? You said no to something, didn't you? Recently? I told her about the kitchen renovation, the $15,000 I didn't have to give. That's it then, Diane said. She's punishing you for having boundaries, for not being an unlimited bank account anymore. So she created this narrative where you're the villain and she's the victim who had to cut you off for her own well-being. But what about the kids? Tyler and Emma, they love me. Don't they miss me? Diane was quiet for a moment. Kids are resilient and malleable if Ashley tells them often enough that grandma is busy or that grandma can't come over. Eventually, they'll stop asking. Eventually, they'll forget. The thought broke me. Tyler forgetting me. Emma, who was only 5, not even remembering me in a few years. What do I do? I whispered. I don't know, sweetie. I really don't know. After I hung up with Diane, I sat at my kitchen table for hours, just thinking, processing, grieving, because that's what this was. Grief. I was losing my grandchildren, not to death or distance, but to my daughter's manipulation, to her need for control and money, and there was nothing I could do. I couldn't force Ashley to let me see the kids. I couldn't prove she was lying about me being toxic because how do you prove a negative? How do you prove you're not something? If I pushed, I'd look exactly like the controlling, boundary stomping grandmother she was painting me as. If I stayed quiet, I'd lose them. Either way, I lost. I thought about Tyler, about the last time I'd seen him 6 months ago when I'd watched him for the weekend. How he'd hugged me, how he'd said he loved me. Did he even ask where I was yesterday? Did he wonder why Grandma didn't come to his birthday, or had Ashley already poisoned him against me, told him I was too busy or didn't care enough to show up? The not knowing was almost worse than the rejection itself. I made a decision then. I went to my desk, pulled out nice stationery, and I wrote a letter. Not to Ashley. I knew that would be pointless, but to Tyler, a letter he could read someday, when he was older, when he could understand. Dear Tyler, I wrote, happy 8th birthday. I'm sorry I couldn't be there to celebrate with you. I want you to know that I love you more than words can say. I've loved you since the day you were born, and I will love you every day for the rest of my life, whether I get to see you or not. When you're older, if you ever wonder why Grandma wasn't around, I want you to know the truth. I didn't choose to leave. I was pushed away. But that doesn't mean I stopped loving you. It doesn't mean I stopped thinking about you every single day. I hope you had a wonderful birthday. I hope you got everything you wish for. And I hope someday, when you're ready, you'll want to know me again. I'll be here, waiting, loving you from a distance until the day you decide to let me back in. All my love, Grandma. I sealed it in an envelope, put it in a box with all the photos I had of Tyler and Emma, all the cards they'd made me, the macaroni artwork, the drawings, everything I had left of them. I'd save it, give it to him someday if he ever asked, if he ever wanted to know A week later, I was still raw, still hurting, but I made another decision. I needed to protect myself. Document everything, not for revenge, but for truth. I made an appointment with a lawyer, not to sue Ashley, but to create a record, a timeline of everything that had happened, all the money I'd given her, the texts, the phone calls, the sudden cutoff. Mr. Harrison, the lawyer, listened to everything, took notes, asked questions. Ms. Johnson, I want to be clear. You have no legal recourse here. Grandparents' rights are very limited. Unless there's abuse or neglect, which there doesn't seem to be, a parent can restrict access to their children for any reason. I know I'm not trying to fight for custody or visitation. I want a record in case Tyler ever asks, in case he ever wants to know the truth. I want to be able to show him that I tried, that I didn't just disappear. He nodded. I can do that. We'll create a detailed accounting of your relationship with your daughter and grandchildren. Document the financial support. This sudden change in access, everything. Thank you. Ms. Johnson, may I offer some advice? Not as a lawyer, but as someone who's seen situations like this before? Please stop giving her money. Stop being available every time she needs something. She's taught herself that you're a resource to be used. And when the resource runs dry or says no, you get discarded. The only way forward is to accept that and protect yourself. She's my daughter. I understand. But she's a grown woman who's making calculated choices. She's not some confused kid. She knows exactly what she's doing. I knew he was right, but knowing and accepting are two different things. 3 months have passed since Tyler's birthday party. 3 months since I stood on that porch being turned away. I haven't heard from Ashley once. Not a call, not a text, nothing. Marcus called once more, telling me I needed to fix things with Ashley. When I asked him to explain what I needed to fix, he couldn't. Just said I should apologize and be more understanding. I didn't apologize. I didn't do anything wrong. I sent a birthday card to Emma's birthday last month. Simple. Happy birthday, Emma. I love you, Grandma. I don't know if she got it. Ashley never acknowledged it. I sent another card to Tyler's school. Made sure to send it to his classroom teacher, not to Ashley's house. I wanted to make sure he got it. Inside was a simple message and a $20 bill for ice cream. Love, Grandma. His teacher sent me a brief email. Tyler received your card. Thank you for thinking of him. At least he knew I was still thinking about him, still loving him, even if his mother was trying to erase me. I'm different now than I was 3 months ago, harder, more guarded. I've learned things about my daughter I wish I didn't know. I've learned that to her, I was never a mother. I was a bank account, a free babysitter, a resource to be exploited until I dared to say no. I've learned that she's capable of cruelty I never imagined. That she can turn my grandchildren against me without blinking, that she can rewrite history and paint me as a villain in a story where I was only ever trying to help. I've learned that love isn't always enough, that you can give someone everything and they'll still want more. And when you can't give them more, they'll throw away what you already gave, like it meant nothing. But I've also learned something else. I've learned that I deserve better, that I'm worth more than being someone's ATM and scapegoat. I'm not sure what the future holds. Maybe someday Tyler will reach out. Maybe when he's 18 or 21 or 30, he'll wonder about the grandmother who disappeared, and maybe he'll come looking for answers. If he does, I'll be here with the letters, the photos, the documentation, the truth. And if he doesn't, if Ashley succeeds in erasing me completely from their lives, then I'll survive that too, because I've survived everything else she's done to me. I still volunteer at the women's shelter. I still go to book club. I still live my life. But there's a hole now where my grandchildren used to be. A Tyler and Emma shaped hole that nothing else can fill. Some days are harder than others. I see kids at the park and think of Tyler. See little girls with pigtails and think of Emma. Wonder what they're doing, if they're happy, if they ever think of me. But I don't chase Ashley anymore. Don't call begging to see them. Don't show up uninvited, hoping she'll change her mind. I've learned that lesson. Learned it standing on her porch with a present and a balloon while she closed the door in my face. Some doors, once closed, stay closed. And sometimes the only thing you can do is walk away with your dignity intact. Last week, I did something I never thought I'd do. I started going to therapy to talk about this, to process the grief and anger and confusion. My therapist asked me an interesting question. If you could go back to that moment on the porch, what would you do differently? I thought about it for a long time. Would I have called first? Would I have stayed home? Would I have handled it better? Finally, I said I wouldn't have spent $40,000 on someone who saw me as nothing more than a piggy bank. She nodded. What else? I would have set boundaries years ago. I would have said no more often. I would have required respect instead of just giving love unconditionally. And what about that specific moment, standing on the porch? I closed my eyes, saw myself standing there again, holding that present, that stupid balloon. I would have held my head high. I would have said, that's okay, Ashley. You don't have to let me in, but you can't stop me from loving him. And then I would have walked away without explaining myself, without defending myself, because I don't owe her an explanation. I know who I am. My therapist smiled. That's growth, Loretta. Maybe it is, or maybe it's just survival, learning to live with a loss you can't fix, learning to let go of people who let go of you a long time ago. I don't know if I'll ever see Tyler or Emma again. I hope I do. But I've stopped counting on it, stopped waiting for Ashley to have a change of heart, because the truth is she doesn't have one, at least not when it comes to me. I was useful when I had money to give and time to babysit, when I said yes to everything and asked for nothing in return. But the moment I became less useful, the moment I dared to have my own boundaries, I became nobody, standing at the door, uninvited. And maybe that's the saddest truth of all. Not that my daughter doesn't love me, but that she never really did. Not the way a daughter should love a mother. I was an asset. And when I stopped being profitable, I was liquidated. But I'm still here, still standing, still loving those grandchildren, even if I can't see them. And maybe someday that will be enough. So here's my question for you. Was I wrong for showing up to that party? Should I have just accepted that I wasn't wanted, or did my daughter cross a line by humiliating me in front of everyone at that door? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one. And if this story made you feel something, hit that subscribe button. There are more stories like mine coming, stories of women who were pushed aside by their own families, women who learned to survive anyway. The next video is already waiting for you. Click it now. It's about what happened when my son Marcus finally told me the truth about why he always took Ashley's side, and what I discovered about the deal they'd made behind my back. Thank you for listening. Thank you for understanding that sometimes family isn't who you're born to. It's who shows up and who stays. I'll see you in the next one.